Kimetsu no Yaiba, or in other words Demon Slayer, has become a hit across the anime community, and I know a lot of you guys have been relentlessly typing away in the comment section on our previous uploads, when are you guys going to make more Demon Slayer content? Well, that's what we are going to delve on today. Yes, it is time we finally go balls deep in one of the most important aspects of the series. With the introduction of the likes of Tomioka and the major antagonist Kibutsuji Muzan, we thought it'd be simpler for you guys to understand how the Demon Slayer world works. We already covered the Nichirin Blade and the black sword that Tanjiro uses in our last video, so if you guys haven't watched that, then make sure to check it out after. But in this video, we will focus and thoroughly explain who are the pillars alongside the basis of the Demon Slaying Corps and its ranks. But before we get into the video, we like to fill you in on our sponsor Raid Shadow Legends, which is a brand new collection RPG game that has literally blown the mobile gaming platform, as almost 10 million players worldwide has already downloaded the game within just 3 months, including us. We have been playing this game for a bit now and can definitely say it's lit. It has great graphics, strategical gameplay, huge boss fights, an amazing storyline, and over 400 champions for you to collect and personally customize. My favorite champion is Athel because she looks awesome and I really like her design. Kinda remind me of Saber from the Fate series. Just check out the details on these champions. And what I like about this game is that everyone can find something for themselves. Some of you guys love collecting characters, some of you guys are all about that deep storyline and graphics, and for us, it's all about that strategy side to it. And to top it off guys, the game is free to play. You can enjoy PvP battles in arenas, PvE in dungeons, and cool boss fights. Personally, I think the game is amazing, but you don't have to take my word for it. With more than 200,000 reviews, Raid has almost a perfect score on the Play Store, and the game is still growing super fast and constantly bringing in new features. In fact, the new update is now live, and there is a new awesome loyalty program for new players, where you get new daily login rewards for the first 90 days in the game. So make sure to check the game out by clicking the special link in the description and comment section below, which will earn you 50,000 silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program to start your journey. And with that guys, let's cue the intro and finally go balls deep. Okay, so before I begin this video, I need to give out a quick disclaimer. Although the Demon Slayer anime is still ongoing, this video will contain mild spoilers from the manga regarding specific characters, as well as explaining the Demon Slaying Corps in more detail. So don't complain and cry in the comment section that we ruined the anime for you. You have been warned. But just as reassurance, you don't have to worry too much for this video, as the spoilers once again are quite mild. With that out the way, why don't we explain the easier stuff first? So throughout the Demon Slayer series, we are introduced to various organizations and characters which have been involved in activities that consist of, you know, your obvious demons. Of course, is in the name Demon Slayer. However, the most major point came across at the beginning of the series. Once Tanjiro's family was massacred by a demon, and through witnessing the change in his own sister, Nezuko, one of the main pillars arrived to eliminate her, going by the name of Gyu Tomioka. This confrontation between both Tomioka and Tanjiro was quite intense, but Tomioka's reading of the situation was something out of the ordinary. Whilst assessing the mental mindset of Nezuko and even the potential of Tanjiro becoming a demon slayer, this led Tomioka then to recommend Tanjiro to seek training from his former sensei, and alongside this, explaining the fundamentals of the Demon Slaying Corps. With that sort of context out the way, what exactly is the Demon Slaying Corps? Well, according to Urokadaki's teaching on the corps, it is that he mentions that they are a dedicated organization whose sole purpose is to eradicate all demons off the earth. Now I know, it sounds as their objective sounds pretty drastic, but it seems as though in the Kimetsu no Yaiba universe, they have no other choice but to do so. Negotiating with these man-eating monsters is totally out of the question. But with all that, there is a catch. Realizing the current stance of the Demon Slayers and the demons, the government doesn't even acknowledge the Demon Slaying Corps as an official organization.
This is #1 bullshit.
I know that most of you guys are confused. Like, why the heck wouldn't the government be assisting an elite squad to take care of these supernatural man-eating beings, right? It's not like the government need convincing of the existence of such beings, as the corps can easily capture weak demons for a showcase. Well, one of the reasonings is because the demon slaying corps has been actually around since ancient times, and because of this they've been dealing with the problem independently, which was long before any formation or change of government. Along with that, the government isn't really fond of the corps due to its old traditional ways of seeking the demons out. However, if you want me to cover the relationship between the government and the demon slayer corps in more detail, then smash that like button and let me know in the comment section below. Moving forward to more interesting stuff, the way the demon slaying corps work is actually pretty simple compared to other anime organizations. As you all should know by now, the typical shonen trope must be played out, and this is inputting somewhat of an exam in place for anyone willing to become part of the organization, and in this case the demon slaying corps. And if you guys are up to date with the anime or manga, you all should understand that demon slayer exam is straightforward, where you must stay up within the mountainside for 7 nights full of demons. If you manage to withstand them for 7 nights, then you are assigned to become a demon slayer. Well, if you can survive, that is. Now, let me quickly run down the basics of the ranks with the demon slaying corps. Yes, these demon slayers have ranks. So starting from the bottom, we have the rookie label known as Mizunoto. From Mizunoto, you're ranked to Mizunoe. Once you surpass your limits, then you'll enter the ranks of Kanoto, then Kanoe, Tsuchinoto to Tsuchinoe, Hinoto to Hinoe, and finally once you manage to become one of the great demon slayers, you will have the rank of Kinoto to Kinoe. I probably butchered every single pronunciation over there, but you know, as always, who cares? Of course, at the moment, currently in the anime, Tanjiro stands at the base of Mizunoto due to him just passing the demon slayer test and not truly being tested as of yet. However, after everything he goes through, his rank has gone up quite a bit in the manga, and with assignments of being a demon slayer, you also gain a Nichirin Blade and a Kasugai Crow for communication. Now, before we even touch upon the subjects of the main pillars or Hashira presented in Demon Slayer, we can't forget the leader who runs the demon slaying corps. Without such vital information, you guys wouldn't understand the purpose of the pillars. So our current understanding regarding the chief of the corps is that he seems to be quite the mysterious individual going by the name of Kagaya Ubayashiki, or usually called by his nickname Oyakata-sama from his peers and subordinates. Now, Oyakata-sama's presence in Kimetsu no Yaiba is as hidden as the main antagonist Kibutsuji Muzan. However, what we do understand of Oyakata is that he's been living with a family curse which takes away his life source slowly each day. His appearance doesn't seem to be the greatest due to the skin on his face rotting away. This is the major effect of the curse that took away his own vision. Right now, even in the manga, there isn't too much covered on Oyakata's character, and there is also a major spoiler regarding him, but I won't spoil it for you guys, so don't worry about that. He is seen wearing a black kimono and is also the one who assigned the following characters as pillars. Basically, he's the boss man, alright? Now that we managed to get your understanding upon the demon slaying corps rankings, there are only a certain few which are able to surpass and go beyond the highest rank of Kinoe. They are the faction in the corps known as the Hashiras, or in English known as the pillars. Well, they're actually not as scary as they sound. However, the rank of Hashira is known to be the most elite warriors that occupy the demon slaying corps. They are the top of the top, consisting of 9 very skilled swordsmen that can't be compared. Each of the 9 pillars possesses a distinct breath style which genuinely takes years of training, to the point that you have mastered that certain breath style as though it has become your second nature. Urokodaki sensei, a former water pillar, nurtured Tanjiro's ability, allowing him to be the one with his breath style. The breath style in which Tanjiro, Tomioka and Urokodaki mastered was the breath or water style. It is also noted that the pillars are constantly looking for the successor, that being one of the reasons why Tomioka recommended Tanjiro to Urokodaki. Although it does take an average of 5 years to learn a breath style, talented students take 2 years to master it, and one of them is Tanjiro. So with these 9 pillars comes members with different elements, and let's keep in mind these characters should never be underestimated. Nevertheless, I'll run down these 9 different swordsmen who are considered untouchable in the rank of the demon slaying corps. Starting with the love pillar. Yes, one of the pillars goes by the name of the Love Hashira, being wielded by your typical fan service character. Mitsuri Kanroji. Her personality revolves around complimenting a lot of the people she comes across. Her positivity may come across as annoying at times, however she does really suit the role of being the Love Hashira. Desperate for love and a husband, Mitsuri's goal and ideals are beyond similar to your basic shonen females, but she does specify that she wants a husband much stronger than her. So she is the pillar wanting a husband stronger than her. That seems impossible, right? And her strength isn't comparable. As I mentioned before, being a pillar also means being a human monster with the second nature of wielding a sword with ease. Acquiring these abilities no woman has, it is said that she always used to stand out in crowds, thus urging her on mastering a breath style assisted by her unusual strength. Not to compare her to anyone, but she does kinda remind me of Tsunade. Either way, she mastered the breath of love. Obviously being the love pillar, her abnormalities came when she put the lover's sword to good use. This Nichirin blade being thin and soft like her personality, her techniques is considered the fastest amongst the other 8 pillars, as the mobilities of her joint being very flexible and the softness of her muscle allows her to go into crazy speeds. Moving on to the next one, the Snake Hashira. Having a close bond with the previous Hashira we mentioned, Mitsuri Kanroji, this pillar has a very different aura about him, being known as the Snake Hashira. I know it sounds like some Orochimaru shit, but it's much more different. Obanai Egoro, the Snake Hashira, like any other character related to any kind of reptile, he is a quite dark individual. He doesn't care about anyone that doesn't abide by the demon hunter conduct and is also really fond of Mitsuri. In simpler terms, the sign he shows, he definitely has a thing for the Love Hashira. Even though his character is perceived to be closed, he has the ability that will actually blow your mind. Mastering the breath of the serpent style, Obanai matches the action of his sword with the movement of a snake. In the manga, Obanai displayed 2 forms of his breath style. His second form, Venom Fangs of a narrow road, allowing him to immediately get behind his opponent and slice off their neck, and then his 5th form, Slithering Serpent, which we had just explained about him performing movements of a serpent directly attacking his opponent. Next we have the Mist Pillar. Out of the previous 2 Hashira, this Hashira may actually surprise you guys. The Mist Hashira, Miuchiro Tokito, has quite the backstory, mainly because how natural it all seems to be. Tokito's story consisted of his mother dying through an illness and his father passing away through an accident off the cliff while looking for medicinal herbs for Tokito's mom. This trauma affected both him and his brother Yuichiro. Tokito's main objective was continue living life out exactly like his father had wanted, whereas his brother Yuichiro took a dark turn, and Tokito mentioned it was like hell living with him. However, with the turns of events, both Tokito and Yuichiro were attacked by demons, leaving Yuichiro on the edge of death and enabling a blind rage set off by Tokito. Since then, he lost his memories and served the demon-slaying corpse, slowly switching that kind-hearted personality into more like his brother Yuichiro, full of darkness. I guess it's fair to say that Tokito is like the Sasuke of this series. The breath style in which Muichiro Tokito acquires is the breath of the mist style, being able to strike from the mist formed through his Nichirin blade. His build is said to be the smallest and weakest amongst the other pillars, but in reality he is much stronger than the main protagonist himself, Tanjiro. Tokito also has 7 forms under his belt, making him one of the most lethal members within the pillars. Now moving on to the next one, Sanemi Shinazugawa, the Wind Hashira, who has a resemblance of an absolute madman. His appearance is actually scary as hell, and I know most of you guys are probably thinking, didn't I see someone that resembles him before? Yes, you guys have. In the beginning of the anime, you lot saw his younger brother Genya. But coming back to Sanemi, his past is similar to Tanjiro's, but with a little bit of a dark twist. Due to his siblings being murdered through his mother who had transformed into a demon, Sanemi had no choice but to kill her. Unfortunately though, his younger brother Genya, who had survived, witnessed him killing his own mother without the context, and as a reaction he accused Sanemi of murdering their own mom, which caused Sanemi great guilt. In the end, he ended up disowning his brother and ran off. This domino effect then led on to Sanemi training to be a powerful swordsman, which ultimately gained him the position of the Wind Hashira. Now Sanemi adopted the breath of the wind style. His technique replicates the cyclone of attacks as he moves like the wind by falling from the sky with numerous attacks on his opponents and allows them to have the full domain over the wind. Moving on, next we have the Rock Hashira. This specific pillar is labeled to be the strongest pillar out of the 9, and that's the Rock Hashira Gyume Himejima. But being raised up as an orphan, his fate was sealed once a demon attacked the orphanage. Most of the pillar's stories are similar to Tanjiro's if you guys haven't noticed, like nearly all of them lost their loved ones, thus causing them to murder every single demon for redemption. Himejima's story follows on to him being famed for the death of the orphans. Well, actually, instead of famous, he became infamous. Yes, that's right guys, after he had defeated the rampant demon with such power and force, it made one of the surviving orphans believe that he had murdered the innocent souls of the other children, and because of that he was wrongly imprisoned and set on death row. But the leader of the demon slaying corps, Kaguya Ubayashiki, intervened due to it being a false accusation, which then led Himejima to train to become the Rock Pillar. Being the Rock Pillar, he had perfected his breath, which was the breath of the rock style. Instead of wielding a sword, his Nichirin Blade was instead an axe held on by chains. His inhumane strength is the biggest factor to why he's noted down as the strongest amongst all the pillars, even whilst being blind. Yes, you heard that right, he is blind. I'm sorry if this is a spoiler guys, I'm sorry, I spoiled it, alright, I spoiled it. Now coming to the Flame Hashira, who personally is my favorite. Kyojuro Rengoku, the successor of the Flame Hashira, a really eccentric character regardless of the horrors he faces as a demon slayer, he manages to maintain his enthusiasm just like a burning fire, being overexcited about even the smallest thing. Rengoku's mastery of the breath flames comes to his advantage, possessing great hands and arm strength to give him the edge against other foes. His power is immense, even being able to go head to head with the third upper moon Akaza. His technique of the flame style was second to none. This technique of his is so strong that he can create tremors in the ground alongside causing trains to go off track. My man is extremely powerful, but it's not the power that makes him an amazing character, but it's the will of fire that he possesses. Moving on to the following pillar, the Insect Hashira, Shinobu Kocho, who at times can be quite sadistic, but it comes from a place of hurt. She is also shown to be quite responsible and does have a good relationship with everyone. However, her relationship with Giyu Tomioka is a bit strange due to both of them being quite compatible with each other regardless of their little feuds here and there. Anyways, Shinobu is seen to mostly have a smile on her face and is calm in everyone's eyes. Her objective is to live peacefully with demons, but is also one of the most ruthless when it comes to fighting against them. Her story to becoming a Hashira began when she and her sister Kanee were saved by the rock pillar Himejima from demons attacking the Kocho residents. This trauma then triggered them to become demon slayers, where eventually Shinobu became the insect pillar. Her technique, Breath of the Insect, requires her to cover her Nichirin Blade with poison just like a deadly insect would do, and then strike her opponent. Even the slightest of cut could be major damage to her opponent. Her only known form is the dance of the butterflies, which makes her sting her opponents multiple times with fuel injected poison on her blades. Moving on, I don't know if I should say this, but the next pillar is one handsome beast. No homo guys, but the Sound Hashira immediately caught my eyes when he was introduced into the manga. Just like Rengoku the Fire Hashira, Tengen Uzui's personality is centered upon being very flamboyant and eccentric. He likes to make things beautiful, and I guess due to this, he has 3 wives. Yeah, you heard that right. My man has 3 wives while there's someone who was struggling to find even one. Okay, seriously, jokes aside guys, Tengen has the breath style of sound. This allows him to deconstruct his opponent's movement into sound waves and rhythms. By doing so, it creates an opening for him to strike his opponent just like a beat to a song. In conjunction, he uses anti-demon bombs made out of gunpowder that plays its part as an accessory when defeating demons. Originally, he was a shinobi, so he implements a lot of that into his fighting style. Now, of course, I had to leave the best for last. Giyu Tomioka, the successor to Urokodaki and the current Water Hashira. Tomioka already had a massive impact on us from the beginning of the anime. His combat intellect and movement just attracts you towards him. His reading of the battle against Tanjiro and Nezuko is what made him really stand out, assessing the situation so fast and being able to react instantly. He was also a first taste to what the breath style can do. But when it comes down to Tomioka's personality, he's kind of oblivious on certain things. For example, from our own perspective, he may seem cold, but in his mind, he's just your average guy. This is coming from when Shinobu stated that he wasn't liked by many, which had him in shock. Now, slight spoiler, Sabito, who was one of Urokodaki's students and is seen in the anime, anime was actually best friends with Tomioka, being saved by Sobito multiple times during the final process. Unfortunately, with the death of Sobito, Tomioka was then next in line to take his spot as a Demon Slayer. Since then, Tomioka has been suffering of survivor's guilt. Now, coming down to his breath style, it is known that he has the breath of the water style, just like his former teacher and future successor. And we've seen the breath of the water style multiple times in the anime, with Tanjiro putting the water style to its full extent, for example switching the breathing pattern with the water style. This will make the user more agile with each strike he takes. Tomioka has mastered all 11 forms, where they all use the technique of him using to increase the amount of oxygen in his blood. This will then open up the accessibilities to other various forms. And with that, that's pretty much all the 9 Hashiras. But just a quick side note, just because there's 9 doesn't mean there can't be more. There was once a Thunder Hashira who was the master of Zenitsu, but I'm not going to talk about him as he's no longer a Hashira. I know this one has been a bit of a long one, but we hope you all understand the 9 pillars associated in Demon Slayer. We also hope you guys learned something about the Demon Slaying Corps. Even though they do have similarities with your Jonins from Naruto or Hunters from Hunter x Hunter, they did manage to make these characters very unique, especially when labeling them under the elements. But as always, make sure to smash that like button and comment in the comment section below who's your favorite pillar that interests you the most. Hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one.